You wake up, you have things to do, important things, but you just lie there. You scroll your phone, you tell yourself just 5 more minutes, and then an hour disappears. You're not tired, you're not sick, but you can't move. So you start blaming yourself, lazy, weak, a failure. But here's what no one tells you. It's not laziness, it's your brain. Today, we're going to break down the real psychology of motivation, why it disappears, and exactly how to rebuild it. Most people think motivation is a feeling, like a spark that shows up when it wants to. But psychologists define it very differently. Motivation is your brain calculating whether a reward is worth the effort. And the chemical running that calculation? Dopamine. Now, dopamine isn't really about pleasure. Research from the University of Connecticut found it's about wanting. It's the fuel that tells your brain, go. That thing is worth your effort. When dopamine fires in the right brain areas, you become a go-getter. When it's low or misdirected, you become what scientists literally call a slacker. And this can happen to anyone for very real biological and psychological reasons. Here's something important. Dopamine fires on anticipation, not satisfaction. Your brain releases it not when you get a reward, but when it predicts one is coming. This is exactly how social media hijacks your motivation. Every like, every scroll, every message, tiny dopamine hits. Instant, effortless. Your brain gets so used to these cheap rewards that anything requiring real effort, studying, building, working, stops feeling worth it. The effort is too high. The reward feels too far. This is dopamine burnout, not from working too hard, but from being constantly overstimulated. After a 2-hour scroll session, you can't open a single textbook. Your brain isn't broken, it's been trained to reject slow rewards. In 1967, psychologist Martin Seligman ran an experiment that changed how we understand motivation forever. He exposed dogs to electric shocks they couldn't escape, over and over. Then he opened a door, a way out. The dogs didn't move. They just lay there, accepting the pain. They had learned to be helpless. This happens to humans too. When you fail repeatedly in school, work, relationships, your brain builds a dangerous belief. My actions don't matter. Nothing I do changes anything. And once that belief takes hold, motivation collapses. Why try if trying doesn't work? Research confirms this isn't just in your mind. People under chronic stress and repeated failure actually produce less dopamine in the brain's motivation center, the striatum. This is why people stay in bad jobs, bad habits, bad situations, not because they want to, but because their brain has been trained to believe effort is pointless. Sometimes what looks like no motivation is actually fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of trying your absolute hardest and still not being enough. Psychologists call one version of this self-handicapping, where people unconsciously avoid starting because if they never truly try, they can never truly fail. I didn't fail, I just didn't really try. Perfectionism works the same way. The person who can't start a project until it's perfect isn't lazy, they're terrified. Their brain found a solution. Don't start at all. It's trying to protect you, but in protecting you, it keeps you completely stuck. Now let's talk about solutions based on what the science actually says. Step 1. Cut cheap dopamine. Give your dopamine system a chance to reset. Reduce social media, constant notifications, binge watching. Not forever, just enough to let your brain start wanting again. When reading a book or taking a walk starts feeling good again, your system is healing. Step 2. Stack small wins. Your brain needs proof that effort leads to reward. Start with tiny, achievable tasks. Finish something small, then slightly bigger. Each small win releases dopamine and slowly rebuilds the connection between effort and reward that learned helplessness destroyed. Step 3. Reconnect to meaning. Ask yourself honestly, why am I doing this? Go deeper than the surface answer. If the goal doesn't connect to your real values, who you want to become, what actually matters to you, your brain won't fire properly no matter how disciplined you try to be. Motivation follows meaning, always. Step 4. Name the fear. If fear is underneath your lack of motivation, name it out loud. What are you actually afraid of? Naming a fear reduces its power. Then ask, what's the smallest possible action I can take right now? Not the perfect action, not the complete action, just the smallest. Because motion creates momentum, and momentum rebuilds motivation. Here's what I want you to remember. Lack of motivation is not a character flaw. It is a signal. It's your brain telling you your dopamine system is depleted, or you've been failing without support for too long, or fear has quietly taken over. And signals can be answered. You don't need to feel motivated to start. Research shows the opposite. Action comes first. Motivation follows. Start small, win small, repeat. And the fact that you're watching this, trying to understand yourself better, that's not the behavior of a lazy person. That's the behavior of someone who's not giving up. Hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment. What do you think is stealing your motivation the most right now? See you in the next one.